Okay, on to question 4, vector question. Two vectors are given by u and u plus v. Find vector v. So they've made it a little bit trickier than other vector questions, but we're still going to apply the same rules. Okay, so what we've got is we've got our u. So we know that u is equal to 151. V, we don't know what it is at all, but we know that u plus v is going to give us 6, minus 4, and 3. Okay, so what have we added to these numbers to get to this number? So you could look at it and say, well, 1 plus 5 is going to give me 6, and then to get to the minus 4, we've had to take away 9, yeah, and then 1 plus 2 is going to give me 3. Okay, so you could just visually look at it and say, well, that's what's going on, yeah. The other way, of course, is to say, well, if I know what u is, so I've got u plus v equals, and let's just call that vector w, since it's consistent. If we're trying to find what v is, because we know u and we know w, v is going to be equal to w take away u, yeah? So we could have done 6 minus 4, 3, take away 1, 5, 1. Okay? I don't like that's a bit messy. Lionel Messi? That's still quite messy. So I had to apologise for that. Lack of. So yeah, this one minus this one. So that would give us the same, wouldn't it? 6 minus 1 gives us 5. Minus 4 minus 5 minus 9. 3 minus 1, 2. Okay? So it's just the exact same thing. So, as you start to do these, you can kind of see that there's sometimes there's a mathematical way to do it, and sometimes there's an obvious way to do it, or just to check. Okay? So don't get confused the way they're asking it. There's still lots of different ways actually to do the question. Okay. So 2 marks. The first mark they're giving it is for actually this part here, where you understand that it's w minus u, and the second part is working it out. I'm just going to check to see. See, they mention the subtraction in the marking scheme. Yeah, that's interesting. I think actually, if you just wrote this down, you might not actually get the mark. That's the 2 marks. That's interesting. Let me just double check that. Pause. No, forget that. It says you'll get correct answer without working 2 out of 2. So if you did this section here, that would still be 2 marks. But in the marking scheme, the standard way of doing it is 1 mark for your working and then 1 mark for your answer. But you'd still, if you just wrote this and highlighted that as your answer, you would get the 2 marks. Okay. Question 5. Scroll down a little bit. Solve. So first of all, what does solve mean? Solve means we're finding what x is. Okay. There's 2 obvious ways to do this. So whenever you see a question like this, you could use your quadratic formula. So minus b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac. In fact, so messy. B squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So there's that method. Or there's working out the factors. Okay. I think the discriminant here is a bit overboard, but if you're not comfortable working out factors, it's not a bad bet. Like, yeah, this will work every time. Okay. We have to use this if it says to 1 decimal place. That's an indication that it won't be a simple factorization. Okay. If that's only 2 marks as well, makes you think it'll be a simple factorization. So we could do this. Obviously, in that case, a would be equal to 1, b would be equal to minus 11, and c would be equal to 24. Okay, so we could do it that way. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just going to try and keep my working as neat as possible. Sorry. Okay, so 1 minus 11 and 24. So you could work that out. Right? But I think for this one, we'll just see if we can do it simply. So when we come to factorize, we're looking for 2 brackets. we've got an x and an x. We're trying to hide these two numbers in here. Okay, so the two numbers that are in here are going to add to give us this and multiply to give us this. Okay, and that comes back to the little table that was drawn before. Okay, if we've got x and something, you can see the two units will multiply to give us a unit, that one, and then the x's here and here will add together to give us an x answer. Okay, so something that adds to give us that and multiplies to give us that. The best thing to do is to go to the side and just write down factors of 24. Okay, so factors of 24. First of all, I know I've got 24 and I've got 1. Yeah. I've got 12 and I've got 2. I've got 8 and I've got 3. I've got 6 and 4. And then it would just go around the other way. Maybe 4, 6, yeah. 3 and 8. 2 and 12. And 1 and 24. Okay, so it's just flipped round, right? So we don't actually need the second bit of the table. We don't actually need to write that again. Okay, we just need these four. So looking at these are factors, so we know they'll multiply to give us 24, so that's fine. But do any of them add to give us 11? So nope, nope, nope. So it's just the 8 and 3. We're looking for minus 11, so that'd be minus 8 and minus 3, yeah? And that makes sense again because they would multiply to give us a positive 24. So that would give us 24 in here. That gives us minus 3x. That gives us minus 8x. That gives us x squared. That gives us our minus 11. So I'm happy with that, okay? So I know I've got x is minus 8 and x is minus 3. So it's dead easy to check this as well. You know, if you made a wee mistake, if you just try and multiply it, you see you made a mistake, okay? So that's your first step, but we're still not quite finished. We need to actually work out what x is. So therefore x is going to be equal to 8 and x is going to be equal to 3. Okay. So what this is telling us is if we've got a graph, a standard quadratic, okay, we know this is going to be a positive quadratic. So because it's positive, it's going to have a downward U shape. It's just saying that it cuts the x-axis at 3 and at 8. Okay, so that's that point and that point. That's all it's telling us. Okay, so whenever you see this, it's just basically saying when does the graph cross the x-axis? Simple as that. So when x is equal to 8 and x is equal to 3, it's going to cross the x-axis. Okay, good stuff. I'll just leave that there. And very last one in this video, we've got our cost graph. What's A and B? Okay, now again, we've got 2 marks available. The people that write these diagrams only show relevant data. Okay, everything that they show is relevant. Now, if you know nothing about these graphs, the number 5's in here. Okay, it would be a good guess just to say 5 in A and B, right? So that's a good guess right away. Okay, because there's a reason they've shown us that. Okay, so please, if you see something you're not sure about, have a guess. Okay, look at the diagram and think, well, what are they showing me? Have a guess. All right, there's a reason. But yeah, correctly. Let's just first of all start off with what a cost graph actually is. So the cost graph, that's terrible, 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 terrible. Try that again. It is hard writing with this pen. Like honestly, if you try it yourself, it is actually much harder than it looks. That's better. Okay, so let's say that's a standard cost graph. So the height is 1, minus 1, and the period is 360. So that's standard. Okay, so we've got from this graph to this graph by multiplying by A and B. Okay, now the one that should be easiest is A. Okay, that's the height of it. Okay, so the height is now 5, so we've multiplied 1 by 5. Okay, so y is going to be equal to 5 cos something x. Okay, so that's A. And again, at the bottom we'll just say A is equal to 5, just so the marker thinks, so that's helpful. They're giving us spoon feeding them the answer, don't make them look for it too much. Okay, so A is equal to 5. B is to do with the period. Okay, so the standard period here is 360, but the period here is 90. Okay, so we've got 4 of these within 360, don't we? Because we've got 2 within 180, so we're going to have 4 within 360. Okay, so we've times that by 4. So B is equal to 4. So that's what you should be thinking about when you see these two numbers. The first one's to do with height. The second number is to do with the period. Okay, if there's a x minus or positive, that's shifting it to the left or right. Okay, these two, this is moving it up and down. I'm getting terrible arrows. Sorry. This is moving it up or down, and this one here is to do with the period. Okay, but again, don't get stressed out if you look at a question and you're not sure. Just look at what data you've been given and give it your best guess. Okay, if you know there's only 2 marks here. If you see the 5 and just put 5 in both of them, that's 50% for nothing. Easy. Okay. So the 4 was probably the harder bit. That requires a little bit of thought. But that one should just be an instant, nice and straightforward. Alright. Good stuff. Probably not got time for this. I'll do this in the next video, okay?